everyone, and welcome back to SAFC Fan TV, another edition of Thursday Night Live. Joining myself on the panel tonight, we have Terry, the Mad Mistake. Terry, how's your day been?
Busy. Just got in about half an hour ago. Got me pizza in the oven, but I can't have it yet till after this, so I've just switched it off. So, yeah. Be even better when I've got me pizza after this.
Of course. We're also joined by Jack Shields. Jack, how are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've been off work today, been on the gym. Looking forward to another happy hour talking about Sunderland.
Don't even mention it. And still getting himself set there. We have our resident Southerner, Jacob Kirkbride. Jacob, is now a good time? How are you? Right, well, we'll get back to Jacob in just a few moments. Just a couple of things before we do start tonight's show. Starting on a little bit of a bad note, really. I guess we'll be continuing on a bad note as well, really. But first and foremost, rest in peace to Keith from the Fans Museum. Died at 31 years of age. We'd like to send our best wishes. Everyone from the channel would like to send our best wishes out there. Keith's family and friends, everyone at the Fans Museum, and everyone affected by the news. As well, the fan who collapsed in the West Stand in the opening minutes of Tuesday night's game against Burton Albion has been reported in the stable but critical situation. So we're not 100% sure what that means, but we are relieved to hear that there is still some chance, and we send our best wishes out to the fan. Hopefully they make a full recovery. I'm sure everyone from the channel and all Sunderland fans worldwide echo those thoughts. Join us though, Jacob. How are you doing? Are you ready?
Yeah, a bit slight technical hitch at the start with my mic, but all working now, mate.
Yeah, we are live as always, so if you would like to join us via the live chat, feel free to do so. We'll read some comments out as the night goes on. Hello, FNRL Chips. Try and see that one after a few drinks. Andrew Flynn, Anthony Perth, Mick Griffiths, 1973, Kyle Mavin, and Dean SCFC are all on there. Lads, the obvious starting point. I know we don't really want to talk about this for too long. It's getting a bit boring now, but obviously Tuesday night, a 1-1 draw at home at Burton Albion. Jack Shields, I'll start with you. What did you make of the game?
Not much. Just same as it has been the last few weeks, really, hasn't it? We were no energy, flat. Nobody willing to get on the ball and start anything. You're really looking for a spark all the time. You're at home in front of, 28, 30,000, whatever it was, and you're looking for something to get going. And we just seem to be a shell of a club at the moment, don't we? Both on and off the pitch. I can't recall one real player having a good game. Burton, I didn't think really did that much, but they got a decent chance and put it away. And then it was just a case of, can we break them down? We huffed and we puffed. We didn't really create much. Did we deserve a goal? Probably. I think on the balance of play, draw probably was fair, but it's not really something you should ultimately be celebrating, a 1-1 draw against Burton Albion at home. I know our fans, were happy we didn't lose, which I suppose you've got to take any positive that you can from that game, because there wasn't very many there. In terms of positive aspects going forwards, it's another point on the board, I think, but it symbolises to me a club that's bang out of form, plays low on confidence, and really needs a real shake-up from top to bottom. You look at our form since the turn of the year, 1 win in 10. We're moving further away from promotion than we are getting close to it. That's without even going into the off-the-field stuff. So, yeah, I suppose another goal for us shooting. We didn't lose, but very little positivity to take from that game.
Yeah, I echo what you say there. Not many positives to take from the game. It was a long one to watch, really. Very frustrating. That's my own thoughts. I think, the first half was a slight improvement on what we'd say in the last few weeks. Don't get me wrong, it still wasn't good enough, but I felt as if the first half we moved the ball a little bit better. We were a little bit more compact. I think going with 3 at the back and 2 up front just meant we were a bit tighter together as a team, and we seemed to just have a little bit more possession of the final third. The crucial thing, we didn't really do anything with it, really. I think that's my only really thoughts, really, as the game went on. Burton ended up getting it behind. Terrible defending yet again. Can't keep clean sheets. You aren't going to pick up many good results, are you, really? We huffed and we puffed, like you said, Jack. And in the end, we did end up getting an equaliser. Like you say, it was probably deserved in the end, but it was to no real kind of celebration. I barely moved the muscle, to be honest, when the goal went in. Just a bit fed up of kind of celebrating results like 1-1 draws at Burton Albion and putting ourselves in situations where you're chasing a point at home for a mid-table League One team. It's getting worse and it's getting more depressing by the season, really. Terry, we'll go to you next. I'm sure you've got a lot to say on this. Sunderland 1, Burton 1. What did you make of it?
Very stale, wasn't it? Stale and flat. Disappointed. Trey Hume didn't start. I've got no idea why he's not starting. We got Winchester in central defence. I take it as 3 centre-backs we had. So, again, I don't know if Abhishek Jamajli is just not right to play yet, whether that long injury's taken that out of his body and they just don't want to risk him this season. I just don't know what's going on at the moment. Like I say, so I think some of the players are just not really that intelligent, to be honest, because, I mean, you got Defoe on the pitch for the first time, and why do you not play to his feet? They're humping these high balls at the back post. I mean, how is Defoe supposed to get them is beyond me. So, I mean, I can see it. Surely these footballers have been playing football for years, can be, got a brain there somewhere, keep the ball on the ground, get the ball to Defoe's feet. I mean, it's not rocket science. But like I say, I don't know. I thought Burton only had a couple of chances, probably a couple of more chances than we had. Kind of sort of even Stevens for draw, to be honest, but I think Pritchard was okay. I think there's a lot of players look absolutely shattered. Doyle looks like he's out on his feet. Certain looks like they're probably the same. His confidence is really low. Like I say, there's only, we brought Clark on, and then Clark seemed to have a bit of something about him. He's dribbling with the ball, coming forward, playing the ball to people's feet. At least Clark's got a brain. You can see what he was trying to do, but by the time Clark come on, it took Defoe, so what was the point of that? But never mind, anyway. We move on to Wigan now. We need some sort of spark from somewhere, don't we? I don't know. I mean, Alex Neil, he needs to do something, because I don't know, I'm just lost for words. Honestly, I'm lost for words. The highlight of my night on Tuesday night was going, right? I seen somebody get a cheeseburger, and I thought, ooh, cheeseburger. Do we actually sell cheeseburgers? I went and bought a cheeseburger and a Bovril for £6, and that was the highlight of my night.
A Bovril and a cheeseburger.
Nice.
Doesn't exactly scream exciting, does it? I think
I've never heard of them all. Absolutely beautiful, I must admit.
I've never heard of more League One group of foods together than a Bovril and a cheeseburger and a cold Tuesday night.
Can't beat that.
Jacob, before we do go to you, one quick more look at the live chat. Hello to Kevin Cowell, Alan Robinson, Stephen Hensel, the Bristolian Mackham, Tam tuning as always, John T, Andrew Flynn, John Forbes, and our good friend Emma Hansen. Jacob, over to you then. Tuesday night's result, it was, an awful performance on the whole, wasn't it, really? What did you make of it?
Well, Alex Neil, he summed it up well. I think he said in his press conference after the game, it's more about, players lacking in quality rather than they've got the capability, to have confidence to get a run together, but it's just about whether they'll have enough, to get over the line. And right now, things are just going against us. We just need, something to start it off. And, this weekend's game against the side who not only challenging for promotion, but challenging for the league, Wigan, with the games they've got in hand, for me, people might look at me, it's a battering incoming, but games like that, the pressure can be eased off a little bit. The pressure's more, on them to get a result at the same time. I hope we just go there and, even if we do get beat, just give it a real go. These supporters just deserve a big reaction at this moment in time. And Tuesday night, people might, criticize me for saying this. It's it might be a bit too much of an excuse, but as a player, 4 minutes in, if you have to obviously witness what happened in the crowd, of course you're going to be a bit mentally affected. Going back onto the pitch 40 minutes later, you're not going to have the same mindset as you did 40 minutes earlier. Of course it's going to have a bit of an effect on you, but obviously my thoughts and prayers go out to the fan. I wish him all the best with his recovery. It was awful to watch on the stream, but we started the game, I felt okay. We did come out, a lot more energized than we have done the last few games, but obviously that happened. And, when obviously the game restarted, it sort of dropped off the energy levels a bit. And, we were giving stupid fouls away. They were getting the ball in the box more. We looked vulnerable at set pieces. And that was the high, nothing's really changed on a defensive point of view, getting done on the counter attack again. That was for their goal. And, fantastic equalising goal from Stewart. People didn't really celebrate it in the crowd, but a brilliant ball in from Pritchard. Alex Pritchard, people are saying, why is he playing out of position at this moment in time? Out of all the players we've got in the current squad, he's probably the only one that can put, a half decent crossing at this moment in time on a regular basis. You look at the other wide players, maybe Jack Clark on his day, but he's a young lad still developing. Elliot Embleton on his day, he can, but what other players can consistently put in decent balls into the box, throughout the 90 minutes? Pritchard, I think, is the best shout at the moment, but lack of quality in the game and also a lack of confidence as well. We need a big reaction on Saturday. I'll let you go over to Terry now.
Go on, Terry.
Does anybody know how many games Clark played for Leeds in the Premier League?
I don't know if he actually made any appearances in the Premier League for
Did he
Leeds.
score? I thought he scored. Did he score a goal?
I could be
One or two
completely wrong.
goals?
He was at Stoke, wasn't he? I think.
Was it Stoke? Was it
On
in the
loan
Championship?
from Leeds, yeah.
Maybe that's
And
what
he kind of get a start in League One. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I had planned to get onto the likes of Clark and Roberts continue to be on the bench. Before we do move on to that, however, we'd just like to say 162 people watching, 41 likes. If you haven't already, please do give us a like. It's free to do so very quickly, only take a few seconds. If you haven't already as well, please do subscribe to the channel. You won't miss out on any of our future streams or videos if you do so. But Terry, you brought it up there. Jack Clark brought in on loan from Spurs in the joint transfer window. I don't know what Premier League experience he's got, but we know he's played a lot of his career in the Championship. Patrick Roberts, of course, spent 3 years on loan at Celtic. Was once bought for, I think it was around about £10 million-ish, give or take a few million, in the Premier League one day when Man City bought him. And they haven't really made an impact. And I think if there's anywhere we need to change things up, it's probably out wide going forward. Jack, I'll start with you on this. Do you think by now these lads need to be given a run out wide?
Yeah, I think so. I think what I've liked about Jack Clark is he's when he's come on, he's actually looked to try and take players on and create things. You know what I mean? I think that's you can't put a price on a player that commits defenders, and he looks like he's decent on both sides. You can put him on the left or the right. I don't know predominantly where his ideal position is, whether or not it's kind of as a winger or maybe playing off the striker. But we played him on the left and on the right, and he looks like he's capable of going on the left on the outside and also cutting inside on the right. And he commits defenders, and I think it was him that put the ball in for the goal. Was it Jack Clark that put the ball in? I might be wrong with that.
Pritchard.
Was it Pritchard?
Pritchard, yeah.
I think he was involved in the lead up. I think he might have actually played it.
He played the ball to Pritchard.
Yeah, he played it into him. I thought he was involved. So I mean, yeah, and when you're looking at it at the minute, what's the value in keeping the team the way that it is? Do you know what I mean? I mean, we're poor, we're bang out of form. Like Terry's touched on already, several of our players look visibly tired. Look like they're flagging in games, no energy, no intensity. Look like they're really. And I know people say professional footballers shouldn't be tired, but the simple fact is you do get tired. You know, if you don't have options in your squad, you don't rotate a little bit and take players out the firing line a little bit when they're off form and out of confidence. You're not going to get the best out of them. So I'll be up for trying Clark and Roberts. I mean, the only difficulty you've got is our fans are clamouring for Defoe. You know, you've got to play Ross Stewart up front, and then the wingers. You know, it's going to be difficult to try and work a formation in which it gets the best out of all of the players involved. But I'm up for making changes at the minute because I can't see the value in keeping the team the way that it is when you bang out of form and you're struggling so badly as we are. So yeah, mix it up a bit. And Clark and Roberts, we don't know a lot about them. Give them regular football and see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, Pritchard has been played out on the left particularly quite a lot the last few weeks, and I've often thought he gets a bit isolated out wide. I don't know if he's quick enough. When you put him in the middle, the ball's fault him every now and again. You know, he gets more of the ball in the middle. He sees more of it, and he's got the opportunity to do more with it. In fact, I think one of his best attributes is just his ability to keep the ball in tight areas. That doesn't really get utilised out wide. So it frustrates me as well to see players like Diaco and Gooch who've been inconsistent all season, getting in, you know, ahead of players who've came in January to bolster our options and just, you know, being left completely out of the team. Terry, I know you want him, but before we do, we've got...
No, I was just giving him a wave.
All right, MCM license. Well done, Terry. Give us a wave. Keep up the great work, Terry, Jack, for Sky Sports from the Adopted Magnum. So thank you to the Adopted Magnum for your £5 donation. Greatly appreciated. We're going to go a round of applause. There we go. No, I'm in complete agreement with you, Jack. Terry, we'll go on to you. I mean, you were the one who brought it up, obviously. Clark and Roberts, is it definitely time for these to come in now?
Is he going to have to go back to a back four, though, to play those two players? Because I don't think it would fit him in the back five unless you play a four in midfield. Then where do you fit in Pritchard? Because you're going to have two centre midfielders. Maybe it's Winchester, Matete, and then you're going to maybe have two on the wing. And then you got two wing backs. So I don't know. I don't think that obviously you're going to have to go back to a flat back four, really, aren't you? 4-3-3, 4-4-2.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we haven't looked bad as a 4-3-3 at times. So
we need the defense. We need the defense shoring up first. We need to find a way to get the best defenders in. Now, whether Bath can start or Bart can start on Saturday with Wright, with Hume and Serkin. But Serkin looks a weak link now. He looks tired, so there's nobody else on the left-hand side to put down there. So you may have to just, it's grin and bear it, really. And like I say, you can play Roberts on one side and Clark on the other side with Stewart in the middle. And then you could probably have the three. You could probably put Pritchard further back in midfield, a lot with Winchester and Matete, and then Neil looks tired as well, doesn't he? So he's not going to drop Pritchard for me because Pritchard looks like one of the better players we've got at the moment.
He's the key to the attack along with Stewart, I think.
So I think he's going to have to play Pritchard if he plays his 4-3-3, but then I don't think he's going to be able to fit the other two lads in. I don't think Roberts, for me, is sort of in his sort of eye line at the moment. Clark would probably start, and for me, there's no reason why Clark would start, but everyone's predicting a hammering against Wigan. So is that a game to be more offensive, or do you try and just keep a clean sheet? Catch them on the counter-attack? I don't know.
I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet of Wigan if we're kind of keep a clean sheet of Burton, to be totally honest. I mean, I think Dennis Serkin, you made a fair point there. He's received a lot of criticism. I think he's been major out of form recently. To be honest, from what I can see, he was in form earlier in the season. He came back from his injury. He's been thrown in at the deep end a little bit. He hasn't really been eased back in. And I think if a lad who's 19, 20 years old, you'd probably, in most cases, be eased into the side a little bit more. This is his first season of professional football. And I can see him, Dan Neil, and the one I can see the most is Callum Doyle are dropping off a lot in the last couple of months just because of how exhausted they are. So I'd say what you're saying.
It just makes the decision to sell Denver Hume more stupid to me. There's Denver Hume was an assist. Aidan O'Brien scored for Portsmouth during the week. It just seems like we've got no left back. Serkin's knackered. What do? We get rid of our left back. We haven't got many centre backs. What do? We get rid of Flanagan. It's like, are we trying not to win on purpose? Are the owners have their owners actually got a brain amongst them? Has Speakman got a brain to get rid of all these players? Because for me, I'm starting to doubt them.
I think we were very naive to let a lot of the lads who went in January go. I mean, there are options. I thought Gooch was slightly better on Tuesday night than he has been. I think often when he's been dropped for a little while, he comes back into the team, he improves. Him and Chris Maguire, I think, were quite similar in that aspect when they're taking out the team for a little while, giving a rest, taking out the firing line, then they come back in and they've got the place to fight for. They will improve. Again, he made these typical stupid decisions like he always does. But I do think on the whole he was slightly better. There's potential maybe playing him at wing back. I even think Clark might do a half decent job at wing back because he can get up and down. Jacob, I've not been to you on this. Clark and Roberts, as well as other lads, I guess you could say, really. Is it time for rotation?
Well, where I stand on it, obviously, we'd all like to see, Clark in the starting lineup at this moment in time. But where I stand on it is, if you're going to start Clark or Roberts, I think Alex Neil will most likely go with 4 at the back. But at this moment in time, because we're leaking goals so badly at the back, I think right now, at this moment in time, playing a free, particularly against a side like Wigan, starting a free, I think would be a better option. And it'll be the case of, obviously, we know that Jack Clark and the likes of Roberts, have got the capability if they're playing out wide, going forward. But have they got, the defensive capability to be wing backs? That's I would think Alex Neil's main concern, why they're not getting game time at the moment. But obviously, Jack, you highlighted a man out of form at the moment, Dennis Serkin. Why is it, the last few games I've watched him, why is he caught out so far up the pitch? When we're on the counter attack, or when the opposition are on the counter attack, he's just, for me, he's got so much of a free pass. So, Callum Doyle, obviously, I know he's been at fault for a few as well, but we have to remember, Doyle, I think, deserves, I hope Alex Neil is handling him in the right way because he deserves a lot of protection, with the age he's at. It's his first full season in English football. And I know he's been off it recently, but he needs a rest. And if he has that, I think he'll come back stronger. But because of our lack of options at the back, we don't have any choice. Right now, this might sound, a little bit weird, but Dan Neil, he had experience, I'm pretty sure, the first few games of the season playing in a left-back role because we hadn't signed Serkin at that point. Put Dan Neil, because I thought he actually done well coming on Tuesday night, play him at left wing-back. He's got experience playing in that position before. Serkin deserves to be taken out. I think he's right now becoming one of our worst performers in the side. And for me, Callum Doyle, I know if we take him out the side, it could lack a bit of pace at the back, but Danny Bath, experience he'll add, and I think he's got to come back in now.
You're trying to say Doyle's got pace? Is that what you're trying to say? I think he's slow as old Nick.
Well, compared to...
I think his legs are gone. His legs are gone. He's got no pace at all.
Compared to the rest of our centre-halves, though, Terry.
Well, yeah, Alex Neil's already mentioned that it would rest Doyle straight away at a heartbeat if we had another centre-back. So why aren't we playing Jamal? I can't understand why we're not playing Abhishek Jamajli. He's got to be fit to be on the bench. Why are we wasting that place on the bench? I know he wasn't there. I don't think he was there during the week, but at the weekend he was. I just don't understand.
He was a
think he's
Parkinson
mismatch
signing.
Malji. I don't think he's a player. I've never ever. Is he ever? You know what I mean? He just seems to be one of those players that always gets mentioned and never ever gets a game. You know what I mean? I know he's been injured, but
I mean, something that Alex Neil did touch on, which I thought was, well, I didn't really agree with. He said that if you had another left-footed centre half, he would take Doyle out the team. But for me, as much as in an ideal world you have a left-footed centre half on the left and a right-footed centre half on the right, is it really that important? I mean, Doyle's making probably a costly mistake more or less every game now, and it's not because of his ability. We saw at the beginning of the season how good he is. I think it's because he's played so much football that physically and mentally he's just not able to kind of cope with the amount of fixtures we're having at the moment. I think if you brought him out the team for 2 to 3 weeks, just let him do a little bit of light training, might have a couple of injuries going on, but as well, rest up here, rest the brain. You know, it's a lot of concentration playing men's football, especially when you've not done it before. I think we're crying out for someone else to come in. As for Amalji, I mean, to me, seems like the obvious shout. Danny Bart seems to have been having some fitness problems the last few weeks, potentially picked up an injury. You got Amalji there sat on the bench. He's clearly fit enough. He's been playing the under-23s all season. He just, I just get the feeling in training he must be absolutely terrible. To not be getting a game at centre half at the moment, it can't be anything else really.
So we're not got any under-23s that could come in rather than Jamalji. I mean, he was playing in the under-23s. We're not promote somebody else because, like, they've got to be better than what Doyle's doing at the moment because Doyle looks shattered, like I said.
Well, I think that was why letting Ollie Younger go was probably looking like a bit of a naive decision as well.
Crazy.
I know that they also sent Paddy Armand, who's a centre-half, I will note to Blythe in January, and the only other centre-half I can think of under-23s is Cameron Jessup, and I think he was kind of second fiddle to the others. Go on, Jacob.
Right. One thing I think we definitely need to do, you know, our main first choice, right? When I've seen it, you know, when he played at Wimbledon, he didn't have a bad game at all. I think Try Hume's got to come back in. And another one, you know, Corey Evans, you know, for me, obviously, in terms of being dropped, yes, I agree. But I think he's been playing like a defensive midfield role the last few games. You know, him in that area, he's just like, he offers no movement or quickness on the ball. It's always sideways back. You know, for me, with our frailties at the back right now, drop him deeper, you know, do something different, potentially play him as a centre half. You know, might sound a bit silly, but at the same time, when I watched Corey Evans, you know, I would say his main attribute is, you know, winning headers in the air. You know, he does commit himself in that department. And, you know, at times he does like to put the odd tackle in. It could be something we desperately need at the back right now. You know, we need all the defensive reinforcements we can get. But once again, we're left in a position where we have to play players potentially out of position the next few games to rekindle a bit of form because of the position Christian Speakman's left us in.
Go on, Jack.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think the amount of goals that we've conceded from just a simple ball down the pitch and when we're caught high up, and like lads have touched on, because we have a lack of pace at the back, you know, teams seem to be getting in and scoring far too many simple goals. So I think really the only thing to do if you have got a lack of pace at the back is to drop deeper. You need to drop deeper the own goal. Now that harms your chances going forward because it means counter-attacking and things. You're trying to come from a deeper position. But that's where you try and get as much pace in the team as you can, if possible, you know. So, yeah, get Trey Hume involved. I don't know why he seemed to play well the couple of games or the game he played, and then he's been, would you say, dropped? Or would you know, has he just second fiddle to Sherkin? But, you know, like, he's done nothing since and like you say, he's cost us a few goals, actually, from being caught on the pitch. He's not the only one, because how many goals have we conceded, like, from just a simple ball down the pitch, and we seem to be, you know, caught 15 yards higher, and we haven't got the pace to get back. So, yeah, I think we do need to drop a bit deep. And if that means that we don't, you know, create as much and we'll look a bit more steady and stable at the back, then so be it. Go back to basics, because what we're doing at the minute clearly isn't working.
I mean, and as well, it's not exactly if you are creating many chances going forward. I mean, it took us 93 minutes, you know, to, in my opinion, get a real solid opportunity in Stewart's head to get a goal. And there's been games recently where I feel as if we aren't even having 2 to 3 opportunities. Defoe's been coming off the bench for the last 20 minutes, half an hour of a game and touching the ball once or twice. You know, if you want your Defoe to be effective, you need to give the ball to his feet, and we aren't controlling games enough, in my opinion. I mean, lads, one thing I want to bring up, and singling players out is never a nice thing to do, but I look at Corey Evans. Jacob mentioned him there. He's spent a lot of the season injured. I thought when he came on at Fleetwood away, and I remember particularly he put 2 or 3 quite nasty tackles in, and well, not nasty, completely fair tackles, but strong challenges. And I remember thinking, looks like a player him. And as the season's progressed, he's got injured, and then when he's not been injured, he's been playing. But when he's been playing, for me, he doesn't really seem to bring much. Terry, I'll start with you. Corey Evans, I just feel as if he's slowing us down too much. He doesn't offer any physicality.
Yeah, he doesn't make my 11. Simple as. I don't even know why we brought him in. We brought him in when he was, I think, was injured in the first place, and he had a history of injuries. So I've got no idea. I mean, I'd rather have Max Power back. Simple as.
Yeah.
Simple. You know, there's no. I'd rather have Ledbetter in now. I'd rather bring Ledbetter out of retirement to play Corey Evans. Ledbetter was doing a much better job in that position than Corey Evans. Corey Evans for me is just like a selling player there. You know, if he was a horse, he'd be a selling player. He'd be in League Two, National League. Sell him to spin him away. Get someone else from spinning with it. I didn't know. I just lost. I would never play Corey Evans. I mean, probably a nice bloke and everything, but League One standard, no, not for me. Top of the league, that.
Yeah, confuses how he spent so many years in the Championship. So I just don't really see what he brings. You touched on two players there in Ledbetter and Power, and I look at them and I go, well, I can't see why we didn't renew Max Power's contract. Ledbetter probably wanted to retire, in fairness, but Max Power, I don't know why we ended up letting Max Power go, not renew his contract, only to bring someone else in who was pretty similar. Yeah, money it might have been a little bit, but I think, you know, the Max Power's not any worse. They're quite similar as players. If anything, I thought Power's problem is that he didn't have enough athleticism to be a midfielder in this division or to be very, very good at this division. I look at Corey Evans, I think, well, he's got even less of it. Jack, your thoughts on the situation?
Well, my thoughts are Matete's come in and done more in 3 weeks than Corey Evans done all season. He's as a captain of your football club and someone that you're looking for as a leader. He's got to be the worst example of a captain and a centre midfielder I've ever seen in my life. He doesn't from a centre midfielder. You expect him to have at least a couple of attributes that a standard centre midfielder should have. Does he protect the back four? No. Is he athletic? Does he get box to box? No. Is he good in the tackle? No. Is he a leader? No. Does he get forward and score goals and assists? No. I can't see what he brings to the team whatsoever, other than a few square balls and you're just more kind of walking along, and it got to be one of the most disappointing signings, because I looked at him when we signed him in the summer, and I thought we're signing an experienced player here, came through the ranks at Man United, internationally capped by Northern Ireland. I thought, you know, captain. I thought he's played, I don't know how many, God knows how many games in the Championship for Blackburn, but I thought we were getting a real coup. And I mean, he has been injured, so you know, maybe it's a fact that he hasn't really had a flow of games, but I just can't see what he offers whatsoever. And like you say, we've lacked someone with a bit of athleticism to win the ball. Matete's come in and done more already than Corey Evans has done all season. So I agree with what Terry says. He should be nowhere near the starting 11. I'm sorry, but you're looking at him as kind of your figurehead for your team from the middle, and no wonder we're struggling. Do you know what I mean? If you're looking at him as like a kind of Lee Cattermole type figure.
Go on, Terry, you want back in?
Does this make you wonder about head coaches when they pick people like this, as if like it's to do with favouritism? Because I don't understand what Alex Neil or Lee Johnson actually sees in this bloke at all, and they've got other players in there probably better. So I don't get it. I don't know whether he's a dominant figure in the changing rooms, whether he's a gobshite. I haven't got a clue, but I just don't know why they pick him. I don't understand why he puts Winchester right back or Winchester centre back. I just some decisions baffle me. You play Defoe, but does the manager say put the ball to his feet? No, hump the high balls in. I mean, I just don't understand some of the decisions from the manager and the players themselves. I mean, this is the reason why I'm not a manager, I suppose.
Yeah. Jacob, your thoughts on the Corey Evans situation? Or I might have already beaten you. I'm not sure.
Well, first of all, you know, why he was made captain in the first place is baffling. You know, he only signed for us in the summer. I know we had that exception when we brought Lorik Sana in, but at least he was a captain, you know, that won every second ball. You know, he put his body on the line. You know, he literally just arrived from a foreign country, and Steve Bruce made him captain when he signed for Marseille on loan. I think I can't remember whether it was a permanent signing or on loan, but he was, you know, fantastic. One of the best captains I've seen. But I'm not normally a fan of, you know, players when they've just signed in the summer, given the captain's armband straight away. But was it one of you guys highlight? You know, Corey Evans, he offers nothing. You know, apart from, you know, winning the odd second ball at times and going in for the odd tackle. What technical ability does he have for his game? You know, this guy's meant to be a midfielder. He's meant to have had experience playing at a higher level. You know, for me, it's like what Terry said. You know, the stuff he's doing on the pitch at the moment, you can get players in the lower divisions to do what he's doing right now, if not better than Corey Evans at this moment in time. He just offers nothing in the middle of the park, you know. But in terms of, you know, being solid at times, you know, getting stuck in, that's why, you know, I threw in the option of potentially playing him as a centre half. maybe. But
I don't think he's tall enough.
Yeah, I mean, but even though for his height, he does commit himself when it comes to headers. But in terms of, ability on the ball, sideways back. And even when we signed him, it was a puzzling one because I think there were a few Blackburn Rovers fans on Twitter were saying, his injury record's very poor. He hasn't played a lot of games for someone who's meant to be, I think he's 31 years of age for a midfielder. And back to you, Joe.
Yes. Well, I mean, for me, Trey Hume is the one for me where he played 2 games. I thought he looked pretty decent. I think Jack or Terry might have touched on it before on the show. He made his debut away at Cheltenham. Now, I know he lost at 2-1 in that game, but he wasn't sparkling, but he was okay. Probably 6-7 out of 10 performance. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Went to Wimbledon, another poor team performance. Like I said that a lot recently. But again, I mean, I don't really know where he went wrong. I thought he was okay. He was all right. He didn't do any worse than Winchester. Normally does it right back. I think if anything, he didn't go forward a lot, but that meant we were a bit, more secure at the back. And I think if there's anything that we need at the moment, it's someone who's going to show up the back line. He was taking up the team for the weekend's game. Winchester was put a right back. Now, I didn't really see why that was done. But I think looking back at the time, I thought maybe it's been done to ease him into the team a little bit more. I think we've seen a lot of players this season who look good initially, but have played too many minutes and now they've dropped off. I thought maybe we were trying to take an approach with Hume to try and ease him in so that he doesn't, combust, exhaust, and need a rest. I thought we were trying to think ahead by resting him now. However, he wasn't even named on the bench. So does that suggest there's a knock? That means you're then going to put Winchester at right back, which that means you got to put Corey Evans in midfield. I just think, to me, putting Trey Hume at right back for me means you can put Winchester in there. And I think we've touched on how Corey Evans doesn't really seem to offer anything. Well, I would rather put Winchester, who's at least going to run around and offer you a bit of energy, a bit off the ball athleticism than Corey Evans, who doesn't offer anything. Terry, I'm going to go to you. Trey Hume, is he injured? What do you think's going on?
Well, he can't be injured, otherwise he wouldn't be on the bench, would he? That would make sense. So I just don't think Alex Neil fancies him, to be honest. I think he wants to rather put Winchester back there for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like I say, if he gets into my team, I'd put Winchester in midfield alongside Materi. And so for me, the right back fits to the right back all day long. But I don't know if he thinks he's not strong enough. I just don't know what it is. Like I say, but he would get to my team. I've enjoyed what I've seen. I think he's played all right. I think the goals we've let in haven't really sort of been his fault. Been more the centre backs and balls over the top than Hume's fault. So I don't know if he's fell out with Alex Neil, whether he said the wrong thing. I don't know whether he never bought him a pint after the match against Cheltenham. I've got any idea. I don't know what's happened.
Jack Shields, before we go to you in this situation, I just want to say 194 people watching, 81 likes. So if you haven't already, please do give us a thumbs up. See if I can get a 200 before the end of the stream. It'd be greatly appreciated. And just a reminder as well, it is free to subscribe and you won't miss out on any of our future streams or videos. Jack Hume, then, he looked as if he played 2 decent games when he first came in. He was on the bench at the weekend and then, wasn't even the match day squad on Tuesday night. What do you think's going on? Do you think he's injured?
No, I don't think so. I think it's maybe a system issue, but I can't understand why. Because I'm always I've touched on it before. If you've got a fullback at the club, play your fullback there. I hate this idea. I'm probably sick of people. Are probably sick of us mentioning it, but I hate this idea of shoehorning a centre mid or an attacking mid or a defensive mid into a fullback position when you have someone there. I don't think it's a fitness issue, because he looked like he was up to full speed when a couple of games I watched him. So I really don't know why he's not playing. Unless Alex Neil's had a look at it and thought, it doesn't fancy him, like you say, as Terry's touched on. Maybe I wouldn't like to think the manager will make personal decisions on what someone's like as a bloke, but maybe he's come in and doesn't fancy him, which is a bit of a worry because we've kind of paid. I don't like to say we paid a lot, but we have paid for a player which in League One in Sunderland at the minute we don't often spend money on players, do we? So we've paid for someone, and after a couple of games, it looks like, I hope we're not writing him off, because to me, he looks like he's got pace, and he looks like one of the few players at the minute that's kind of come out of the last few games with any credit that when he's played. We've been on this terrible run, and him and Matete are probably the only, and maybe Stewart's goals, but the only bright things in the last few weeks. So I don't know why he's not playing. A bit of a strange one to me, that.
Yeah. Jacob, your opinion on Trey Hume missing out the last 2 games?
Yeah, very weird. I mean, at Wimbledon, I know the performance wasn't as effective as people would hope, considering their position in the table. But, you know, it was a solid game he had. You know, at times, you know, he looked a bit fragile in terms of stopping crosses, but there is potential there. I mean, at least he is, because are short of numbers at the back right now. You know, at least he's a right back that can play, you know, in that position, because we've constantly been playing Winchester there the last few games, or now that Gooch is back in, him at right wing back. So give him a go. To be honest, I didn't think even at Cheltenham, you know, that there are signs there. You know, he can be a decent player as time goes along, but he's never going to reach that level unless you play him on a consistent basis. And for me, I think I'd start him on Saturday, to be honest. You know, surely he can offer something different on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that it's been a bit of a confusing thing anyway from when we dropped. Didn't really do particularly bad in those first few games, came out with a little bit of credit, and all of a sudden Winchester's being put at right back. That means you've then, you know, losing one of your centre midfield options, which is quite valuable. And, you know, someone who's played a couple of decent games isn't playing anymore. One more individual performance I want to touch on. Jermaine Defoe made his first start since returning to the club on Tuesday night. A lot of people have been asking, you know, why is he not getting more minutes and things like that. I think a lot of it was to do with fitness, but of course he got his first start. Terry, I'll start with you. What do you make of Jermaine Defoe's first start as a Sunderland player for the second time?
Somebody mentioned to me when he was warming up by himself and he wanted to pass the ball to someone, but nobody wanted the ball off him. So he only had 16 touches the whole of the game. He was passed the ball 6 times. That's pathetic, isn't it? Let's face it. I was watching Embleton chuck balls into the box like 7 foot over the goal, and Gooch doing the same. I'm thinking, what planet are these players on? You got the best, one of the best strikers Sunderland have ever had, you know, and they don't even get in the ball to him. And he's just like, he looks lost because there's nobody wants to pass the ball to him. I don't know if they're not his friend. I don't know what's going on. It's just ridiculous. It's just beyond Billy. Alex Neil, if I was the manager, I'd be going mental with them players. They're not giving the best striker in the league the ball to his feet. I mean, people say, oh, he's over the top, this, that, and the other, but they didn't give the poor lad a ball. He's not going to score a goal, is he? So it's beggars belief. It's only Sunderland. This could only happen at Sunderland. It's beyond. I don't want to get angry.
Yeah, I was scrolling through Twitter after the game on Tuesday night, looking for news on the fan who collapsed, really. And I come across a tweet that said, if only we had a 14-foot striker, I might be able to get on the end of some of these crosses going in. I think that sums it up quite well, really. Yeah, I mean, I think he was looking as if he lacked a little bit of match sharpness. There was a couple of times when the ball was at his feet and it just got away from him. There was once when I thought he had an opportunity to shoot, but he hesitated and made a pass. And I think that's probably a mixture of match sharpness and confidence coming in. Really hasn't really played many minutes in a while. Of course, hasn't scored a goal in a little while as well, really. So I think, you know, he showed signs of someone who hadn't played football in a while. But I agree. I think he wasn't really given much service, touching the ball 14 times when you're a player of Defoe's quality just isn't good enough for the rest of the lads. And to get the best out of Defoe, you need to give him opportunities. You need to give him the ball in the box to his feet. Just give him something to run on there, and he didn't. It's all right for Stewart. You can punt the ball to Stewart. You can play it nowhere near him, and he'll get on the end of a few headers. He'll manage to get the ball out wide because he's quick and he's strong and he's athletic. But with Defoe, he's got enough quality with the ball at his feet where to get the most out of him, that's what you need to do. Terry, you want in again?
Even 7 foot tall Stewart couldn't get those crosses. Flipping hell, like rugby's, weren't they? Rugby balls, them.
Yeah, Jack Shields, yourself. What do you make of Jermaine Defoe's starting on Tuesday night?
Yeah, he didn't really. He wasn't the only one. Like, to be fair, it's not like everyone else played well and Defoe had a shocker. He wasn't the only one. You could pick 7 or 8 Sunderland players, if not 11, that didn't do very well. But he's coming in a bad time. We're bang out of form. We're looking for him. I think a lot of expectation was placed on him to give the place a lift, wasn't it? Because we were down in the dumps and we just sacked the manager, and you know we're out of form and we're still out of form. And I think a lot of expectation was placed on him. And I get why our fans love him, and I love Jermaine Defoe, like Terry's touched on. One of the best strikers I've seen in Sunderland, probably second only to Kevin Phillips in his prime. And Phillips was in a better team, so Defoe scored goals in struggling Sunderland teams. So and I love him, but when we signed him, I just thought, I get why we signed him, and I get that he's the best option available out there at the minute on a free, but I just couldn't see how he works into the team with the formation. So I think if you are going to play him, you know, I think even Defoe is 70-80% is probably a better option than most players we've got in the squad, let's be honest. But I think if you are going to play him, you have to get a formation that he works in. You know what I mean? Whether that's 2 up front, 3 at the back with wing backs, like a 3-5-2 wing backs, or I don't know, 4-4-1-1 or something as he plays off Stewart. I don't know the answer, but you do need to find a system that works for him and stick to that. And secondly, like Terry's touched on again, you need to get the balls into him. It's no good. if you're going to go direct and you're going to change the style of play, you need to get him as close to Ross Stewart as you can and working off the knockdowns. If Ross Stewart winning headers, winning chest, getting it on his chest and flick-ons, that's what you need to do to get it. Or you get it into his feet. You get it into his feet quickly and let him have a run at the defence. This long ball and asking him to kind of go down on the wing and stuff, it's never really been Jermaine Defoe's game. He's in the box. He's a box striker. You get the ball in the box, so you're working off the big man, in the Ross Stewart. So you need to get a formation and you need to get in the tactics to get the best out of him. Otherwise, it's going to be a pointless signing this season, I'm afraid, Defoe.
Yeah. Jacob, yourself?
Yeah, Jermaine Defoe, I do think over time, in the games we've got remaining this season, if he's going to play, in a partnership with Ross Stewart up there, eventually it will click. But Terry highlighted it perfectly, give the ball to his feet. Honestly, on our day, we're not a bad team when we keep the ball on the deck. Even Ross Stewart, when he's had to use his feet and adjust his feet, to find a teammate, he's not a bad player at all at doing that. I know people say he's fantastic in the air, but, trust in that format. We've done it down at Arsenal in the League Cup when Johnson was in charge, and it worked beautifully for 15 minutes. Some of the stuff we were playing, and Defoe would thrive in like football that was played that way. But it all depends on what Alex Neil wants to do. Personally, I don't think he'll do that against a side like Wigan this season. At the weekends, obviously with the position they are in the league in terms of the quality they'll offer compared to the quality that we can offer, I just think it will be very unlikely, but you never know. It could be a time for a big change that we're not expecting at the weekend. We could go back to that. Only time will tell.
Yeah, before we get on to our next topic, we are just going to quickly go back to the live chat. Billy G2 says, look ahead, 8 games, we'll be in a different mood. Keep the faith. David Jones saying you need a Dion Charles or Alfie May kind of striker. John T saying the team are just not motivated. How can this be changed? Will Allen asked, when is Huggins back? I think he was due to be back around about now. I think the quicker he can be back, the better. We could definitely do more options at either side of fullback, really. Pino Lestino says, we don't go up, cannot say Ross Stewart. If we don't go up, we cannot say Ross Stewart staying. DJ says, Watson said, again, has backfired on us. We were second and 2 points off the top spot on Jack S. Going into Wigan on Saturday then, I think we've touched on a lot of, maybe rotation being in and a few changes being made. Jacob, I'll start with you. We are going away to one of the favourites to get promoted this season, a team that's been in red hot form for the majority of campaign. It doesn't look good, does it?
No, it doesn't. But, we're up. And we're back. Don't know what happened there. Mentioned it. I'm always a little bit more on ease when we're up against sides like this. I'm more nervous when we're playing against sides below. I think with this one, the pressure is more on Wigan. They'll be looking at the form we've been in and the way we've been defending. They'll be rolling their sleeves up, ready to go. But, just go out there and play with, a lot more freedom, but obviously just be aware at the back. If we sort that out, we could be in for a shock. You just never know. I personally think, this weekend, I might sound stupid, it could be the start of a good run. I can only keep the faith on that front. But, we've just got to get the ball to Jermaine Defoe's feet, play him in the starting lineup and, allow the likes of, because I don't think they'll start, sadly, Roberts and Clark coming off the bench, allow them to express themselves on the ball, take people on, play them in the wide areas where they can beat tired fullbacks and, just double up at the back, when we're caught out on the counter attack, make sure, for example, when we've got corner kicks, have an extra man back there, to deal with that. But only time will tell. I'm not confident, but, I still think potentially we could see a big reaction from the players at the weekend. I can only keep the faith though.
Jacob, you seem to be the man with the confidence. What changes would you make going at the weekend?
Personally, I think Danny Bath will come back in. I think Tri Hume, has got to go. back to right back. I don't think he's a bad player, as probably Alex Neil is making him out to be. I think him at right back, I think, can do a far more solid job than Winchester. I think Winchester should be back in the middle. Alex Pritchard, even though he can put an effective crossing out wide, I play him back as the number 10. I think he's the most effective in that area of the pitch. Dan Neil, I've mentioned this earlier on in the show, it might sound a bit silly to do, but Sirkin is in need of a rest. He's been very poor the last few games. Play him at left back, but we've been forced to play players out of position. Thank you very much, Christian Speakman. That's another one of your frailties, what you've put us in this situation for. Up front, Stewart alongside Defoe, but Clark's got to be the first substitute to come on.
Right, yo. Back in the live chat, Mad Max is saying, well, I definitely ain't wasting £10 on it. Watch Wigan. It is at this moment of the show, and I would like to announce that at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, myself, Philly, and Dana we'll be going live on the channel. We're doing a live stream as we drive down to the DW Stadium on our way to Wigan, and we go to the match. Terry, you want in? There.
Yeah, I'll be doing the live stream at 2:30 as well. So if you don't want to pay £10, come and watch me instead.
Terry with a cheeky plug. Terry, I may as well go to you on this. Obviously, going into Wigan away on Saturday, Jacob seems to be filled with confidence. Do you echo his positivity, or do you think we're going to get battered?
No, I think if we play the players that we've got available, I think he's going to start Sirkin for sure. I think he's going to start Doll for sure. So we have to make the best of a bad situation. And this is the team I would go with. But personally, I would start Jamajli. But I think he's injured, isn't he? So he's not playing. So that's probably Doyle's going to be playing. I think he'll still play Doyle, but I'll go with the wing backs. I'll bring Winchester and Neil on the left-hand side in front of Sirkin. So when Sirkin goes for his wander up the park, Neil can drop in and obviously defend. So I want 3 of the central midfielders, 1 either side, Winchester on the right, Neil on the left, Pritchard number 10, Stewart up front. For me, Defoe, this is the game I wouldn't want to start Defoe because people are saying we're going to get battered on Saturday. It will be high scores. Then we don't want 2 up front. We want to make sure the defence does its job and we'll sneak a 1-0 win. That'll do me nicely.
Terry with the positivity as well. Jack Shields, you're going to bring us back down to planet Earth, or do you think this is going to be a turning point of the season as well?
Sorry to be negative, but I can't see us getting anything on Saturday. I just think Wigan are they're in form. They're ultimately on paper. I know football isn't played on paper, but they're a better team than us. And we've already beaten them twice this season, so I think they'll want a bit of revenge. I think they'll be looking at it thinking Sunderland have beaten us. Opening day of the season, we beat them in the league. And then we went down there and we knocked them out the cup, didn't we, a few weeks later? So we've kind of had 2 on them already this season. And I think we're in, I wouldn't like to say we're in for a hiding, but I can't see any way we're getting them from the game. Listen, we know Sunderland, crazy football club sometimes though, don't we? So it'll be nothing more Sunderland than us going there and getting something on Saturday when we're all expecting losing, hopefully turning up and getting a result. So I hope I'm wrong. In terms of the team though, I think I always say like the team that Terry puts on the whiteboard. I mean, I know it doesn't always work out that way, and we don't always get the result. But I find myself looking at it and nodding like so. Yeah, I think it looked pretty decent that. But yeah, I think we've just got to go there and try and make it difficult for them. If we can get a goal on the counter and defend well, the problem is at the minute we look like we can't keep a clean sheet from anywhere. Do you know what I mean? We look like we're conceding goals for fun, and against a Wigan team that score quite a lot, then it's not a good combination. But you live in hope, but I just think we're on for a defeat, I'm afraid.
Is there any changes in particular you've got in mind you would make to try and get the best result possible, Jack?
Yeah, I would definitely ditch Corey Evans for the rest of the season, hopefully.
Forever.
I would definitely put Tri-Hume back in, as Terry's touched on. I think he needs to play. He's done nothing wrong to warrant being ditched. Matete, obviously, I know he starts anyway, but I would definitely make him, maybe try and tell him to sit in front of the back four a little bit, maybe a bit more of a hold. And I know some people say, well, that's his role anyway, but just tell him to see, literally stand in front of the centre halves and stop anything that comes through. I wouldn't start to 4. I know Jacob's touched on getting 2 up front, but I think it's not the game for him. I think, you're best off going with 1 up front and trying to play off Stewart and work out from the game that way.
Yeah.
Clark and Roberts are an interesting one because I'll be a big advocate of them coming in, but maybe like, not on Saturday, where maybe a game where they're going to have a bit more of the ball than we would. So, yeah, I think, but I like Terry's team, like I say, I thought it was fairly accurate for what I would have gone.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to love yous and leave yous, people, because I've got a little bit of something to sort out. A bit of emergency. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your stream. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Okay.
See you later, Terry.
Bye, Terry.
See you later.
All's okay.
1-0 to Sunderland on Saturday. There we go.
Right,
you heard it first.
That'll do us.
Well, we hope all okay. All is okay in the Mistake residence. It doesn't look good. Quickly back to the live chat. Pino Lestino saying, wish I had your confidence, Jacob. Our defenders cannot defend away from home, cannot beat 10 men. Mick Griffiths as well saying, hopefully we can get an early goal and keep it tight at the back. Mad Max, I'm usually the most optimistic bloke in the world when it comes to Sunderland, but after the last 6 to 8 weeks, my optimism's gone right out the window. And Eddie Bamber on the live chat saying the difference between Sunderland and Wigan is that when the pressure is on, they step up, which I think is probably a fair assessment, really. As for myself, I think I would definitely look to take Corey Evans out the side, probably put Matete and Winchester in the middle together, bring Trey Hume back at right back. I don't really see why he's being dropped. If you can take certain out the team, I would do. I thought Gooch actually had quite an all right game as a right wing back against Burton. I think, I touched on it earlier, but I think he tends to do better when he's been dropped for a little while and then he comes back into the fold. Maybe you put him at left wing back. Equally, I even think Dan Neil playing there. I know Dan Neil's been one of the players who, along with Jordan Serkins, probably suffered from playing a lot of football this season, a lot of senior games, and could maybe do with a little bit of a rest. But I also think maybe if you put him in a position where he's got a little bit less responsibility at full-back than he's got in centre midfield, and he's got a different role, you might get a little bit more energy out of him, a bit more enthusiasm. I don't know. I think he might thrive a little bit more at full-back. Probably wouldn't start to 4. I don't think he's a luxury you can have in this game. I think it's going to be a physical game. We need to focus on winning that midfield battle above anything else. So we'll probably look to put Ross Stewart up front and have players playing off him. If you can bring Clark and Robertson at the team, then I definitely would. Gordon Seymour on the live chat saying, long life for me, Terry, watch SAFC in the 40s and in the war. Mad Max as well saying 2-3 weeks ago I was saying we would make the top 2. All right, see you even going anywhere in the playoffs if you make them. Lads as well, one thing I do want to get to before we kind of start rounding off the show tonight, is there... Where do you think we're going to finish this season? Let's say we do get a positive result at the weekend, or let's say we don't. There's a lot of people saying we're going to drop out the playoffs. There's a lot of people saying that, top 2 still on. I don't agree with that myself. No. Jacob, I'll start with you. Where do you think is a rough estimate we're going to finish, depending on our form?
Based on the way we're going, we could start a good run, but then again, it could all come crashing down at the final hurdle. I would say 6th, but it will be very, very close.
6, yeah. I think for myself, I'm thinking of the kind of the lower spots of the playoffs, really. I kind of had this vision of beating MK Dons on Saturday, beating Burton on Tuesday night, then with form and confidence going and getting 3 points away to Wigan, stopping them winning and putting them on the back burner, building form, going at the last few games of the season. And just about catching the top 2, but I think after Saturday's result, I think if you wanted any chance of getting up automatic motion, we had to beat MK Dons because we probably had to pick up another 30 points or so, really. I think we kind of screwed that for ourselves there, really. I don't think we're going to drop out entirely of the playoffs. I think we'll finish in the lower playoff spots, like I said. I think now it's probably a case of trying to get as many players fit as we can and building a bit of momentum, getting maybe a system that works, going into those, of course, 2 crucial playoff semi-finals and hopefully the final. Jack, yourself, where do you think we're going to finish at the end of the season?
Well, I've said playoffs from the start. I mean, I know we all got giddy when we were up in the top 2, and teams had games in hand on us and we were flying. But I think we are ultimately a playoffs team. My worry is now though that we've our form's gone that south now. Can we recover? Can we get the wins? Because, I mean, in the same way that we had momentum at the start of the season winning, we now look like we're on a downward spiral. Confidence has hit rock bottom. I think our players don't look like they want to get on the ball and create things. And it's almost an inevitability, isn't it? When we go 1-0 down, it's like, here we go. The game's gone already, which it shouldn't be like that, because at this division, we should be capable of, even if we go a goal down, still not just getting something from the game, winning the game. Do you know what I mean? We should be capable of getting 2 more goals, but it just seems like, we're not coming back very often. I know we come back on Tuesday, but we're not coming back to win games, and we're really on a downward spiral. So I'm still going to try and be positive and say I think we might sneak into playoffs, like you've touched on, maybe 5th or 6th. I think hopefully this is our bad run this season. And then, we've still got, 12, 13 games left, I think, between now and the end of the season, something like that. So, but it's just, you're looking at games that we're going to get points from now. And I don't see Wigan as one of them games on Saturday. But then you've got Charlton and a couple of home games. And it might only need one win, one win whereby we might not play well, but just to change things a little bit and confidence gets up, momentum gets going. And then, so I'm going to try and be positive and say I think we'll probably finish maybe 5th.
Yeah, quickly going back to the live chat, Colin Major on there says that, listen, lads, I know you all love the team, but can we just spare a thought for the brave hit of Ukraine night? God bless them all. I think we all echo those thoughts, really. Heartbreaking to see what's going on out there. And our thoughts go out to them, like we said. Span them on the live chat in, click like and subscribe, please. If you haven't already, please do give us a like and subscribe. It is free to do. So see if we can get 200 likes before the end of the stream. And if you do subscribe, you won't miss out on any of our future streams. Mick Griffiths on the live chat as well, saying, after 54 years of supporting SAFC, I'm starting to think I won't see us in the Premier League again. That would be horrible if it was to be. Doug B saying, I'm with you, Colin, as well, just echoing what he says. David Jones live chat saying, sorry guys, but I think you'll finish 9th. But we'll go up next season. I mean, that'd be an awful scenario if we were to finish 9th. Lads, there's a lot of players, just before we finish, due to come back from injury over the next few weeks. Huggins, McGeady, O'Nien and Broadhead all spring to mind. There's probably someone in there I'm missing as well. Jack, I'll go to you. It's a priority before the playoffs do start, assuming we finish there, getting these players up to match sharpness to have the extra options available in the playoffs.
Yeah, you want to go in it with the best squad you possibly can. I mean, ideally injury-free. I think we'll probably will have a couple of injuries somewhere along the line, but you want to go in with the best possible squad. I think of the ones that you mentioned, I think I'm not a huge Luke O'Nien fan, but I think actually we have missed him. I'll give him a bit of credit. I think we've missed his energy in the middle, missed his legs, he's running. Broadhead, hugely missed him. The goals and the assists and the contribution he was making around about Christmas time. So I think those will definitely come back in. McGeady, I'm not so sure on. I think his career is kind of winding down a little bit, but his experience might be helping us. But I think, yeah, best possible squad. But for me, I think the key for us going into the playoffs is momentum and a bit of form. Obviously, we're bang out of form at the minute, as I've said a few times. But I think if we can go into it with a few wins, you never know. Twice at this level we have been in the playoffs, 2019 under Jack Ross, and 2021 last season under Lee Johnson. We've gone in, I think, of one win in 8 under Jack Ross and then 1 win in 7 under Lee Johnson, going into them with that type of form. So it's like we've kind of scraped over the line, and the team that has beaten us in the playoffs is a team with a little bit more form and momentum. So I think that's the key. Can we get something going? Because at the minute, it looks like everything's flat at Sunderland, doesn't it? And you wouldn't put money on us getting promoted from the playoffs, given our playoff record as well.
Yeah, Jacob, a few players ready to come back before the playoffs begin. How important can they be in the final running?
Massive. I know people would argue against, McGeady. Will he have the fitness for someone his age? But all it takes is just one bit of moment and quality. I think we have missed him the last few weeks. I think he would have been a brilliant option coming off the bench. Broadhead, at least he'll add a bit of pace up front. He's got a cracking left foot on him as well. Always got an eye for goal. If we can get him up to full fitness, he'll definitely make a difference in the final third. But Niall Huggins, it's a case of, he's just been so unlucky of injuries. I'm starting to wonder whether the guy's just signed for us, even still with injury problems that we haven't known about, whether he had that at his previous club Leeds. We've just been made unaware of it. But I just hope, because it was a permanent signing. I don't think it was a loan deal. Hopefully we can see Huggins play in a Sunderland shirt again. I just hope it's not a Jamarjani situation.
Lads, I think one or two of us might have dropped our score predictions in for the weekend, but just in case any of us didn't, just very quickly, Jacob, score prediction for Saturday?
You know what? I'm going to keep the faith as I always do. 1-0 to the lads.
Jack Shields?
I'm sorry, lads, but I'm going to have to predict a Wigan home win. I don't think they'll batter us. I don't think it'll be 4 or 5, but I'm going to go 2-0 to Wigan. I'm sorry, I can't see a way we win the game. The form we're in, the form they're in, I think 2-0 Wigan. Yeah,
I tend to never, ever, ever predict anything but a Sunderland win or at least draw. But I am going to predict Wigan 3, Sunderland 1. I can't really see any way we get anything out of this game. I just hope that this can be one of the last really bad results we have this season. We get a few players back from injury. We get a bit of confidence built. And we go into the playoffs in a better position with a better opportunity. And, that's going to be our promotion hope, really. I think really I can't really see us getting out of Saturday. But lads, thanks for joining us. Remember, Jack Shields, have you had good fun on tonight's show?
Yeah, it's been all right. I mean, I wish we were talking about Sunderland wins, but no, it's been all right. I always enjoy the hour. It's always a good crack.
Hopefully, we've got something a bit new to talk about in the coming weeks. Jacob, have you had extra brilliant fun tonight on this evening's show?
Absolutely, Jack. It's always a pleasure, mate.
Very good to hear. Thank you everyone for watching as well. Thank you for tuning in. Just very quickly, 120 likes, 157 people still watching. So if you haven't already, please do give us a like. It is free to do so. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so as well. It is free to do so again. And you won't miss out on any of our future streams and videos. Speaking of, just a reminder, myself, Philly and Dino will be going live in the car at 10 a.m. On Saturday morning as we head down to Wigan as we are going to the match. So if you'd like to tune in to that, please do so. But for myself, Jack Dodds, from Jack Shields and from Jacob Kirkbride, and of course from Terry the Madness Day, quite a part of a few moments ago. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on Saturday, or if not, for the Sunday Bunch. Take care. Bye-bye.